Hi friends, we're back with another What Sold This Week video. It's a pretty good week. Again, I am knock on wood, so happy with this. I'm going to start off telling you my whatnot sales for today, and then after the whatnot sales, we'll get into what I sold on the other platforms throughout the rest of the week. But whatnot is still going pretty strong, and I don't want to say that this is a new normal because I don't want to jinx it, but it's been going pretty steady and I'm very happy about it. So today, I sold a total of 29 items for $472, and that should come to about $406 after fees. Yay. I sold 29 items. They are going to a total of 19 buyers, 12 of whom are first-time buyers for me, that's pretty nice, and that's a lot. Usually, I'm kind of a 50-50 split. Today is heavier on the first-time buyer side, so that's fantastic. 19 packages that we got to get wrapped up. So that's okay. That's great. We can do this. And by we, obviously, I mean me. You're along for the ride, though. You have to watch the insanity. So let's see how we know how we did. Let's see what I sold today. So first up is a new to me buyer who purchased one item. It's this really pretty cotton shirt. I got this at an estate sale of somebody who did a lot of their own clothing, but also this is not something that she made herself. I do think that maybe it was sort of like I don't want to say artisan, but like a handmade or boutique kind of piece. That's the tag from it. And it just says Gabby, made in Italy and 100% cotton. It's really cute. It's a really nice shirt. This sold for $15, which is what I started the auction at, right? Yes. My eyeballs are like not doing their best work today. They're getting it done, but they're not, top of their game. So this blouse is really nice. Now when I got this blouse, like I said, I got it at an estate sale and I did have to soak it. There was some yellowing to the blouse. It came out really well, but I did have to put some work into this, but I'm still really happy because obviously, again, great overall sale day for whatnot. And as you will see, I had a few pieces that we got bid up again, and they were like some surprise pieces to me. Not because the pieces themselves were like not cool, because they are, just they were pieces I've had sitting around for a little while. So that was the first package. Second package is a repeat buyer who purchased one item from me. These are some pants that I've had in a few whatnot shows in the past. They ran in several shows. I took them out. I think I put them back in, took them back out. They've been around for a while. I stuck them back in today because I needed some additional pieces, which is a really nice feeling. They sold for $10. So that's what I started the bidding at. And again, is it like a ton of money? No, but I was excited to buy it. Very happy that they sold. And, when I say that I had to pull a few pieces. So obviously, here, 30 new pieces in every show out of the 100 items that I try to make available. But because I sold 36 items last week, I had to get, I got my 30 new pieces in, but then I still had to pull like another 7 pieces because this skirt that you can't see was also in the show and I decided to keep it, at least for now. So I had to pull 7 items from older inventory and several of the items sold. Those pants being one of the items. So that was really cool and very encouraging. And today, 29 pieces are going out. Again, is it all 30? No, but it's still fantastic. I'm so excited. All right, next up is a new to me buyer who purchased 2 items. They are both belts. They've been in multiple shows and they're still really cool. Obviously they're really cool. Let's see. So here's one, this little wooden kind of chain style belt. And each of these sold for $15. So I've got this one, and then I've got this silver mesh belt with like rhinestone detail. It's really cool. And it's got like silver leather. I was describing it as like a Dolly Parton because it's kind of like a glam Western style belt. It's really cool. So both of these are going to the same buyer. For right now, I'm just going to throw them in this poly mailer bag. But when I actually ship them out, I'm going to wrap each of them individually in some bubble wrap because I don't want them scratching themselves or each other up. So I want to make sure they're well protected. I'll probably ship them in a box, but I'm sticking them in this bag to keep them together for now. So there's that. All right, next up. New to me buyer who purchased one item. These were another piece that I had to pull from older stock, and I was really stoked. I got these from, I can't remember if I got these from an estate sale or from a Facebook Marketplace haul, but these are handmade and they're polyester bell-bottomy kind of pants. They're so cool. I had these listed for $20 and that's what they sold for. But it was great because, again, a while back I had them in a whole bunch of shows. My first show that I put these in was some sort of raid train. I can't remember what the theme of the raid train was, but it was one I was trying to put things in that were like really special pieces and price them up a little bit. And I was really surprised that these didn't sell. And I did have them in a bunch of shows subsequently. They had not sold. And then I pulled them out and hadn't put them into new shows yet because my intention was to just get them listed to Etsy or eBay or whatever. But they've been sitting for 8 million years and I had not done that yet. So today I was like, oh, let me put those in the show and see what happens. And they sold. So yay, that was excellent. Let's see. Next up is, hold on, I want to make sure I've got my shipments correct here. Yes, okay. So next is another new to me buyer who purchased one item. They purchased this dress, which is a really cool, like sort of disco-y kind of polyester or nylon fabric dress with this great cowl neck. And that's the tag in case you want to see. Hi. This dress sold for $20. I believe that's what I started the bidding at. And I think that I started the bidding a little higher on this just because I paid more for the dress when I purchased it. I probably paid $8 or $9 for it. So I had to start the bidding a little bit higher. This has been in a whole bunch of shows. I think I took it out for a little bit and then put it back in, but you know, it's still a fairly recent purchase. You're welcome for that lovely little side quest. So got it back into the show and yeah, $20. Awesome. Very excellent. New to me buyer. I hope they love it. It's a really cool dress. If I could fold, that would really, that'd be fun. Let's see. It was another fun show today. People were really chatty. I got a little raid, which was nice. I don't know what that's doing. Okay. And yes, this is the only item in this shipment, so that's cool. I got a lot of compliments on my t-shirt. Y'all have seen this t-shirt before. So, okay. It's not like a great fold job, but that's all right. It gets it done. Oh, sorry, Skibs. All right, let's see. Next up is another new to me buyer who purchased 3 items. I don't know what I'm doing here. 3 items. And first up, they're all right here. This is so nice. Everything I kept relatively in order. First up is this blouse. It's a silk, like secretary style blouse. And this sold for $15, which is not surprising. It's what I started it at. That's what it sold for. There's the tag. And I just really I liked it because it was silk. I like the print. It was nice. It's got all these fun details with all these buttons and everything. One of the things that I thought was really fun on this was it has these buttons at the cuff, but they're just decorative. But the cuff has zipper closures. And look at just how fine and delicate that zipper is. It's just so smooth and nice. And it's just, I don't know why. I really like it. I have another piece somewhere in here that also has zipper cuffs. It's really cool. In fact, I think, yeah, it's another piece that sold. So you'll get to see that again. Because I know you're like, can I see more zipper cuffs? Really interested in how those work. All right, never mind. I don't know what I'm saying. When I started my Whatnot show this morning, my throat was a little froggy. I don't know why. And then now it's like feeling, irritated is not the right word. It's like something's happening. And I'm really hoping that something is not happening. I'll have to pound some zinc in a little bit. All right, second item that this buyer purchased is another recent estate sale find. This very cute little half apron. And this sold for $5, which is what I listed it at. It's fun to have $5 pieces sometimes. I feel like it makes it a little bit more exciting of a show. You know, it's a nice little, you know, if you've already purchased something, you've got a shipping charge going, and you get a cutie little $5 apron, very lightweight. It's fun. So that was nice. So neon on this camera. Okay. And then third item that this buyer purchased is this vintage little nightgown thing. So cute. This is like a sheer little nightie by Eve Stillman. It's very cute. And this sold for, where are you, girl? $15, which obviously it's what I started it at. And that's great. So I got to fold it up all cute. So when I came home yesterday after doing my little haul video for y'all, you know, and then I have to get to work, getting all of my pieces loaded up into whatnot, and then photographing everything. I had a little bit of a head start. I had 12 pieces drafted, and I think I had all of them photographed. The photos weren't all added in yet, but I think I had all the photos done for those. So I only had another, you know, 18, 20 pieces to add in. The drafting went pretty smoothly. I was able to keep focus pretty well. And then after drafting, we had dinner. And there's definitely been times where I just work through dinner. Like, I don't take time out. I just kind of eat while I'm working. But I also sometimes, like, you know, my boyfriend and I like to watch, we watch Will Trent and The Rookie on Hulu, and like, that's our thing. So I've been taking time out to do that, which is cool. And I like having the little break, but the problem is getting myself going again after that. So after we're done watching our shows, I'm like, I don't want to get up. And then when I finally get myself up, I kind of come back to my workspace and putz around some more. And so that was rough, but I got everything done. I was up until like 1 a.m, which is better than like 3 a.m. And I have a little bit of a head start for some following weeks. You guys don't care about all this. Okay. Let's see. That might be unfair. Some of you might care, and thank you. If you don't care and you're bored with this, I'm sorry. Next up is a repeat buyer who purchased one item. It was this skirt, which is so freaking cute. I love the colors on this. It's just so happy, right? There's not really a good tag in this. It's just like a boring paper tag. I don't know why I felt like that hanger was not hung up properly. Yeah, here's the tag. Like, who cares, right? So part of me wants to say, like, I was disappointed this sold, because this would be so cool in my Etsy shop, you know? And by Etsy, you know that I mean everywhere. But also, I'm so excited that somebody bought it. So, and that is the only item. Started it at 15, and that is what they purchased it for. Yay. All right, get that bagged up. And so, let me see. Next up, before I go off on more tangents, get that up there. Okay, so next up is a new to me buyer who purchased 2 items. First is this little Y2K era baby tee, which is so cute. Right, little bandana print. It's plain on that side, and it's energy. Adorable. You know I love these little baby tees. So that sold for, what did we sell for? I don't know, 15. Okay. And then the second item that this person purchased, I'm very excited about. Obviously, I get excited about a lot of them, but this was fun. Hold on. So, shirt. The second item they purchased was one of the belts that I just got. So, this one, it's the belt buckle with the J on it. Very cool. So, this is a really cool brand, which again, you're not going to be able to see. But it's Crumrine, Crumrine, which is like sort of a known belt maker, I guess. Like if you're into Western belts, I guess it's a known thing. The belt itself is also gorgeous. So, I knew that I'd be able to sell it eventually somewhere. Initial belts from this brand, initial belt buckles, but belt buckles with an initial on them, were selling in like the $40 range or $60 range on eBay. So I knew that it would sell, and those were just the buckles without a belt. But it sold to somebody in my Whatnot show, which was cool. And the person has a J in their name starts with a J. So that was just extra fun and exciting that it found its person. Now, I did pay $10 for the belt, and it sold for $20. So not a whole lot of profit on there. It's like $7 profit. But, again, we're doing like a collective good thing here. It all adds up type of thing. Next up is a repeat buyer who I always feel like I love the taste that she has. It's another seller. I love her taste. So when she buys stuff from me, it's also like, oh, cool. Like somebody I admire is buying stuff for me. So I always get, it's a nice little rush. This is the shirt that she bought. So I got this from my recent estate sale. And you may recall I was contemplating keeping it. There were so many cool like t-shirts from that sale. And there's another one that I probably am keeping, partially because it's damaged in a way that it's like, that I don't know if it makes it less sellable. Anyway, so this I had listed for 15, and that is what it sold for, right? Yes, sold for 15. So it's really cool, and it's very beat up, and it's awesome, and I love it. So I'm excited about that. Get this. See, but like this did not get bid up at all, which I kind of would have thought maybe, but also, I don't know. I sell a lot of things for their starting bids. That's that. All right, next up, new to me buyer who purchased one item. Also, another t-shirt from that same estate sale. This one I started at $10, and this got bid up to $11. So it's a cool little shirt. Some of these, like here's the brand on it, which says Rel E Vant t-shirts. And they do a bunch of similar things, gardening tools, but some were like fruits and veggies, some were cats or dogs or whatever. And some of those are pretty decent resale, like $30, $40, $50 on eBay. The gardening tool one was more in the, I want to say $25 or $30 range. I can't remember. I looked it up, and it wasn't like an $80 t-shirt, so I didn't feel bad about putting it on Whatnot. Because I feel like if it's selling on eBay for like $25 or $30, then, like $10 is a pretty great deal on Whatnot. So there's that. And okay, yes, just this item. So I think that part of the rash of new buyers in all of this might be because of my raid train participation. I haven't had the raid train yet, but I'm in a group of people. And so some of those people might have followed me, although I don't think any of these names are familiar yet. But honestly, there was so many people that I didn't recognize because I don't go on Whatnot a whole lot I don't browse Whatnot a whole lot. So I mostly go on and sell and get out of there. Hold on, I want to make sure I did not miss. No, that was the t-shirt. Okay, cool. So next up is, where'd my brain go? It's here somewhere. A new to me buyer who purchased 2 items. So these 2 items are very exciting to me. Number one, they purchased this shirt, which I've had in a few Whatnot shows now. So this was up to number 75. And to be fair, in the last show I did, this was probably also around number 75. So, originally it would have started around like 1 to 30, and then it just kind of gets bumped up every show, gets pushed a little further. So, number 75, it's been in 4 or 5 shows now, and people don't seem to care a whole bunch. And then today somebody requested to see it, which was great. And this sold for $34. So I don't remember if I started it at 15 or 20. I feel like I started it at 15, but it got bid up to 34, which as you know, for me, is a pretty big deal. That's a lot of bidding, especially because, the bidding typically goes in like $1 to $2 increments. When you're bidding on Whatnot kind of predetermines your bid increase for you. You can put in a custom bid. So when you're on Whatnot and the bidding is active, you kind of swipe this bar across to enter a bid. So I know that if it's at $30, let's say, the swipe might increase it by $4. Like it'll say, oh, bid 34. And it's just kind of like an increment that Whatnot has chosen. And I think like when it's starting at $10 or $15, it jumps up by $1 increments, but then at some point it changes to 2 and then 4, something like that. I don't pay enough attention, but you can just enter a custom bid. So if you see something that you like and you don't want to have to keep swiping, you can go into custom and enter, just like on eBay, you say, I'll bid up to $40 for this item, and then it'll kind of bid for you. I don't know enough about that to know, does it bid in the same increments? I'm not sure. And you can change the increments, but you can't change the increments. I'm sorry. I think that you can, by using custom, you can choose, instead of changing it from 30 to 34, you can go like 31, or I don't know. It's very fast paced though. So I think a lot of people just swipe. Anyway, $34 is kind of a lot, because it's not like it goes from like 15 to 20 to 25, So that's fantastic. I was very excited about that, getting bid up to 34. The second item that this person purchased was one of the pieces that I pulled from backstock. I had this in a whole bunch of shows at some point. Nobody cared, pulled it out, put it back in later for a couple more shows, pulled it back out again. Today I was like, you know what? I was going to put it in. Then I was like, I don't know. And then I was like, yeah, let's put this one in. So I grabbed it, I put it in. It's a cute dress. It's like a very lightweight polyester, kind of house dressy type of situation, right? So started the bidding at 15. It sold for 31. And I think that just what amazes me about it is that so often it's, I start feeling like pieces are stale or not the right vibe for the show, or, maybe I just have terrible taste and people hate it. I don't know. There's the tag for funsies. And then something like this happens. So again, it's just sort of some nice confirmation for me that if I liked it enough to purchase it in the first place, it's a pretty good chance that it's a good piece. Even if it doesn't sell in 15 different Whatnot shows, it doesn't sell. A lot of times then it sells on Etsy or eBay or whatever. And, if I was listing this on Etsy, I would have listed it probably for like $49 shipped. So a lot of this, it can be very easy to start doubting some of your decisions when things are being passed over constantly on Whatnot. If I list something on Etsy, I put it up there and it sits, and I don't have to look at it every day or every 5 minutes, and how about now? Do you want it now? Do you want this now? How about now? That's, and Whatnot is a lot more like, hey, how about now? And so it can be discouraging when people are like, nah, because then you start thinking like, oh God, I don't know how to do this. My inventory sucks. And so this is just like another little reminder, nudge from the universe or wherever that you have to wait for the right person a lot of the time. Things take time. Have faith in your inventory. If you like it, somebody else probably likes it also. You're not like a terminally unique individual, as they say in 12 steps groups. So, you're not just like some freak who likes things that nobody else likes. I mean, maybe you are. I don't know you. But chances are, if you like it, someone else also likes it. And chances are, it's not just like one other person in the whole universe likes it. You know what I'm saying? There we go. Little, not great, but a bigger bag would have been like unnecessary, I think. I'm going to interrupt this poor cat. Okay, let's see. Next up is a new to me buyer who purchased one item. This cute little sweater knit tank top, which I love. And this sold for $10. You all got to move over here. Okay, and I'll show you the tag and then we'll wrap her up. Tag. It's cute, right? I like it. By the way, what do y'all think of this big, that's my microphone. I've worn it a couple times. I've used it for a couple of videos so far, and I do like it, but I feel like the sound is very abrasive. And to be fair, I talk very loudly. So I put this little fuzzy thing on it, which is supposed to help dampen some of that. And I felt like it sounded better. So let me know if you have a preference. Like, do you prefer it, or did you not notice a difference and you don't really fucking care? I don't know. It's a pain in the neck to get on, and I have to take it off every time because to charge the mic, I have to stick it back in its little case, so I can't have the fuzzy thing on it. But it's not so much of a pain that I need to avoid trying to put it on. Okay, next item that I sold. Love this. This was my favorite item from my haul yesterday. I started this at $15, and I kind of wanted to start it at more, but also I was like, it's really cool. And if it sells for 15, then somebody got a really cool piece from you for 15 bucks. And maybe it'll get bid up. And it got bid up. And it was this one. Look how cute this was. You remember this? Oh, it's so cool. This is all like individually stitched in here, right? Like patchwork style. And then this is like stitched on eyeball and little. I love this one so much. Anyway, this sold for $32. So that was exciting. This is going to a repeat buyer. Another person who buys stuff, there are some people who like consistently buy my favorite stuff, and she's one of those people. So I assume she's a reseller. I haven't checked into her. She is a reseller just based on her name. I haven't checked into any of her shows yet, I don't think. Again, I'm a terrible, I am a terrible whatnot buyer. I don't attend a whole lot of shows because it's just like I can't do anything else when I'm doing a whatnot show. Like I try, but it's hard. If somebody's on while I'm doing whatnot prep, actually, that's a little bit easier for me because my whatnot prep, I don't really have to do a lot of thinking. You know, I can just kind of, it's just measurements and like typing a title for a dress. Whereas like Etsy, I'm trying to write actual item descriptions. So I can hang out in somebody's whatnot show when I'm prepping for my own. But I kind of do that once a week. So, all right, next up is another repeat buyer who purchased 2 items from me. And they're also very cool because of course they are. So first is this jumpsuit that I got just yesterday. So amazing. It's so much fun. I love it. And somebody pointed out that it's Royal Caribbean. I haven't verified this, but this is the little logo. And so somebody was like, is that Royal Caribbean? I'm like, I don't know. Is it? That's cool. So that would be hysterical. Like that they're probably selling this on the cruise line, like in the gift shop, and people are buying it as their loungewear. Like, this is fucking cool, right? So awesome. Anyway, some of those things, like cruise t-shirts and stuff, sometimes they sell for decent money, like surprisingly higher than I would think that they would sell for. Like I would think nobody would care about a Royal Caribbean t-shirt from whenever, and they seem to. So just, a little tip, if you're ever out and about and you see a cruise line t-shirt, look it up, see what it's going for. It might surprise you. I don't know if a Royal Caribbean jumpsuit would be going for a whole lot. I think that this jumpsuit would go for a whole lot just as it is as a jumpsuit. So the Royal Caribbean part would just be like a bonus. I got to get a little bit of Rizzo hair off of this. You notice that I do not have any Rizzo interruptions this afternoon. Oops, sorry. Oh my gosh, Rizzo, you all know we have to keep our 2 cats separated from one another. So Rizzo is usually gets free run of everything when I'm doing my whatnot stuff. But, we gave Skibbs free run now. And so Rizzo's put away. So Skibbs usually has free run of everything because he was here first. But I think that when he and Rizzo have problems, he's the instigator. But Rizzo does have like a very strong PTSD response to anything that she does not like. So it's like a combination. She does not respond well to things, but he is also trying to stir some shit up, which I don't know why, because she would absolutely annihilate him. It's not a smart move on his part. But I don't know. Y'all don't get to see Skibbs too much because he's just chill. I don't know how to fold this jumpsuit in a way that's cute. Like it doesn't want to fold up nice. All right. Sorry. It's just if you are the buyer, sorry. I mean, I guess it looks okay. It's just bulky. That's not bad. And the second item, this person purchased 2 items. The second item that they purchased was this purse, which I love, which I got from a recent estate sale. I think it's so cute. Like, and it's such a great size, like just perfect length and everything. I love this. And this sold for, I'm sure, $15. Yeah, both of these items, $15 each. So that was great. I'm going to tuck this in the jumpsuit so that it's a little protected. Now, it's not very protected, but that's how it's going. No, never mind, actually. It looks ridiculous. We need a bigger bag for that. There we go. I feel like I'm like moving along nicely. Sometimes after a show, I'm just really wiped out, but obviously I still have to do all the shipping and everything. But I'm not feeling too wiped out, which is a point I was going to make about 20 minutes, not 20 minutes ago, but when I started talking about staying up late and prepping for whatnot. I'm going to say usually because of all that, I'm really wiped out, but I'm feeling pretty good today. It's nice. All right, there's that. Let's see. Next. Hold on, just double checking that that's the one I already did. Yes. Okay. Next up, new to me buyer who purchased 2 items. I don't know why I'm doing all this today, but I'm animated, I guess. New to me buyer purchased 2 items. First up, I think one of them got bid up a little bit, a very little bit. Yeah. So first up is this, which is from my very recent estate sale as well. A little tie-dye kind of like 90s era situation. And this sold for $10, which is what I listed it for. This has an elastic waistband with a drawstring, but the elastic is a little bit short, so I went a little bit lower on the price with this because of that. I don't really feel like it impacts the wear too much, but anytime there's, that's something that you kind of have to trust the seller about. And sometimes it's hard to trust sellers because sometimes sellers are crappy. So if you all don't know, and you might not, because I don't feel like this is true in the vintage clothing world, but in the regular reseller whatnot world, there is some fucking drama going on all the time. And some of those sellers are just not nice. And there's a lot of like scammy shit that goes on and whatnot. I was going to do a video about it once, but the problem is that because the women's true vintage category doesn't really have that going on, like I know about it very peripherally, but I don't have very direct experience with it. So in trying to explain like what are these scams that happen on whatnot, it's hard because like I don't see it. I just hear about it secondhand. And then sometimes I'm like, I know that it's bad, like I don't know the detail enough. Anyway, but so because of that, sometimes it can be hard to trust a seller's word, like, hey, the elastic is worn out, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't impact the wear, right? Anyway, so I priced it a little lower. That was a very long way to say that, but also, hi, I'm Laura. I take a long time to say things. Okay, this dress is the second item that this buyer purchased. It's a velvet, like 90s dress. I love this dress. I love the flower print on this. It's so pretty. This is made by Nostalgia. I was very excited when I found this dress. Nostalgia pieces are always super fun. They're very like romantic and sort of like goth, grunge, 90s, that kind of vibe. And I really thought this would sell very quickly and it didn't. But once again, today, I started the bidding at 15, as I always do, and it sold for 17. So not a massive amount of bidding activity, but it's got an extra bid. So after a whole bunch of shows where nothing happened, it got bid up, and it's May 1st, and I'm selling a velvet dress, and it got a second bid. So yay, that was very cool. And somebody's getting this awesome dress that I love. It's so awesome. So pretty. It's a little bulky. I think we'll put it in a larger bag just to not be shoving things everywhere. I need to drink more water again, but I feel like I've already had so many long pauses and tangents in this video. I don't know why I worry about that. Like, clearly, you know, if you're seeing this like for the first time, you're watching me and you're like, what the fuck is this chick doing? Sorry, this is normal, you know. But if you come back to this channel, you're used to this, you know what I mean? And I guess it doesn't bother you enough to like not come back. So thank you for that. I appreciate you. All right, let's see. Or you're my dad. Hi, thanks for watching this. All right, let's see. Next up is new to me buyer who purchased, what is this? Also, this is incorrect. She purchased one item. New to me buyer purchased one item. This little Laura Ashley jacket, it is a black velvet puff sleeve, very cute. Here's the tag in case you need to see that. Probably went with a dress or something at some point, but now it's just on its own, going rogue, living its best little bolero jacket life. And it sold, oh my God, for, what did it sell for? Where are we? $17, right? Just making sure. Whatnot has made some changes to the functionality of their site that is just very frustrating. It makes it hard for me to tell which order I'm on when I'm like, it gives the list of orders and it doesn't highlight the row that I'm on anymore. Very, I don't know why they did that. All right, just got to get a little bits of little whoosies up off of this. The other thing that they did that's really weird is they removed, I think I told you about this already because I keep talking about it because it's annoying me so much. They removed a bunch of the clothing categories. So like dresses gone, or at least in the women's true vintage, right? Dresses are gone, jumpsuits are gone, intimates / sleepwear is gone. And I use all three of those categories a lot. When I was listing kids' clothes for the kids show that I'm going to be doing, that had dresses and stuff, but I was also doing it through my phone. But I think it's tied to the category, not tied to phone versus website, because when I went in yesterday on my phone to see if I could edit one of the items, like a dress or something, and it still didn't have the category option for me for dress. So like, why would you do that? And in fact, when I was importing things today, stuff that I had categorized in the past as a dress, now I had to recategorize it because it doesn't even maintain that category. It's so weird. I don't know what they're doing. Okay. Next up, repeat buyer, purchased 4 items. Another buyer who has just like some of my favorite tastes in the pieces that she purchases. First up is this little jacket. I love this. This was in my most recent haul, so you may already be tired of me showing it to you, but so pretty. And plus it's on a hanger now. It's easier to see, you know? So it's got a little metal zipper down the front, fully lined. And that's the tag. So cute. And this is the second item that has the little zipper cuffs, right? Like, look how nice. And these are metal zipper cuffs, but they're still like, first of all, one-handed zip. And then they're just nice and they're just so nice. I love it. I don't know why. I mean, I know why, because it's like easier, number one. You don't have to struggle through buttoning with one hand. That's always a nightmare. All right, let me get this zipped up. So this sold for, I'm assuming, $15. Let's see. Yes, sold for $15. Let's get it folded. Get her folded. Poor sleeve does not want to do what I'm trying to ask it to do. There we go. Kind of. All right, it's fine. Next is her second piece is I got this at the most recent estate sale as well. So cool. Look at that. Look. Cute aggression towards a shirt. And it's got embroidery all over the place. I love it. It's so cool. Let me show you the tag. Look at that. But the collar. Oh, the collar. Really cute. So I know I started the bidding at 15 on this, and that is what it sold for. So again, like, why would this not get bid up? I don't know. It's amazing. It is kind of like extra small. So that's part of it. But it's still amazing. Everybody should want it. But it's so cool. And I'm very excited that this buyer was able to get it because she gets such cool pieces. All right, let's see. Perfect. Next is this very cute dress. This has been in a bunch of shows. Adorable. I think I got this from an estate sale too, but I had it sitting around for a while before I put it in a show because I had to get a stain out of it. This sold for $15, which is what it started at. So the stain came out of it really easily. I just procrastinated a long time before trying. So it was one of those pieces, I think, I tried to do a little stain treatment on it, and then the stain didn't just like magically disappear instantly. It's always, I mean, honestly, that's a miracle when that does happen. So I wanted to bring it to the laundromat and not send it out to get my laundry done. And I procrastinated going to the laundromat. Not surprisingly, because who doesn't procrastinate that? That's not fun to do. But I didn't want to send it off and, you know, in case they, whatever. I just like to check it when it comes out of the washing machine to make sure that it's not shrinking, that the stain is gone, you know, and then dry it very slowly. Because sometimes I don't know what stuff's made out of, and I'm afraid to just throw it in the dryer on high heat like I normally would, and like I'm sure the laundromat does when they do it for me. So I, you know, short little bit, you know. Anyway, okay. Next up, final item that this buyer purchased is this thing, which I believe sold for 10, which is what I listed it as. I originally got this. Look at this. This is like a jumpsuit thing, but the leg on it is like, it's like a giant rectangle of fabric. It's amazing. I purchased this for myself. It's a little more modern, probably is modern, but it's obviously got very sort of bohemian vintage kind of aesthetic. It is so comfortable. It is so easy to wear. You literally throw this on. You don't need a bra. You don't need underwear. Nobody can tell what's going on under there. It's super comfortable. The problem that I have with it is that because these legs are so wide, and they're fantastic, but you know, I do so much of my work all day, like just sitting on my bed. And so getting up and down on, you know, up and down, standing up, sitting down, all that, I step on these legs underneath me and catch myself so frequently that it's just frustrating for me. And then I end up not wearing it. If I were leaving my house more, I would wear it more. It's so comfortable and awesome to wear. If you see those in a thrift store ever, I highly recommend just grabbing it because they're just so cool. But if you step on all your own clothes all the time, even again, this skirt that I'm wearing, it's very like gauzy and flowy and cute. And I have already today done it. Like I squatted down on the floor for something. And when I went to stand back up, I stood on the skirt and nearly ripped it off myself. Like I'm clumsy, I guess. I don't know. So if you're like me and you stand on your clothes too much, maybe don't get it. But otherwise, it's amazing. I loved it. Okay, this. And then I'm running out of room where I'm throwing these because poor Skibbs is laying on the bed and he's in the way, and I'm just going to startle him or hit him. I have 2 more packages to wrap up. Next, new to me buyer purchased 1 item. This came from the recent estate sale. Very adorable. I started this at $15. And that is what they paid for it. So cute. It's like a little cropped bad girl kind of sweater, but it's 80s era. Really fun. Okay, let's see. Let's get her put away. Oop. Oh, there we go. It's got really cute little buttons too. See? Adorable. I love it. It's so soft. Holy shit, it's 3:33. I'm in trouble because my post office closes at 4. I'm in trouble. All right, final item. This is from a repeat buyer. They purchased this dress, which also came from the recent estate sale. So pretty. I started the bidding at $15 on this, and that is what it sold for. So there we go. So let me get this folded up. I was about to be like really upset that I'm going to probably miss my post office, but my regular post office worker is on vacation, which sucks. She's so awesome. She scans everything with no problem. A lot of post offices don't want to scan all your, especially if you have a lot of packages, they don't want to scan everything because it takes a long time and it's tedious. But she's like, you know, zips through it. So she always scans everything. She's delightful. But I'm going to have to go elsewhere because I don't think I'm going to make it. And even if I make it, the guy that subs for her, he's so slow. He's so slow and like not there. There are a couple other women who might sub some for her sometimes too, and they're better. They're not Esther. Esther's the queen bee. These other ladies are not Esther, but they're fine. But I don't think I'm going to make it there because it's 3:35 and I still have to print all the, yeah, it's not going to happen. I'm going to have to drive. So, all right. Well, that's okay. Anyway, that is all for this, but you're going to see my remaining segment for all the other stuff I sold. So let's go see what else I sold on the other platforms this week. All right, let's see what I sold everywhere else this week. We are starting off really strong with this absolutely gorgeous gown that I sold on Etsy for $179. I can't say that today. I've started this video over like 3 times because I cannot say $179. There it is. So this gown is from the 50s. It is so beautiful. Look at this thing. Also notice I had my freaking AirPods in when I was taking these photos. Ridiculous. This gown is gorgeous. I love it so much. Didn't have any tags at all. But look at, here's some of the fun detail. Just this like lovely lace, not really lace. It's like an eyelet. And then the construction and the zipper. So freaking pretty. This sold to a buyer in Australia. So I did not pay any shipping. And the shipping on this, Etsy wanted to charge me $41 in shipping. Through Pirate Ship, I was able to ship it with extra insurance that I purchased for $25. It's like a $16 difference. What is Etsy doing? Stop smoking crack. Makes me nuts. Anyway, so I made $179. I said it that time on this dress. It's so freaking pretty. I love it so much. I was very happy about that. This, I forget what day this was. I think this was Saturday. I know it doesn't really matter. It was like Friday or Saturday. And the same day, I also sold this Beauty and the Beast t-shirt on eBay. So this, you may recall, was in a very recent haul video that I did of the estate sale where I got a whole bunch of kids' clothes. And I knew when I was doing the haul that this would probably sell for like a nice amount of money. I had no idea that it would sell for as much as it did. I did some research on this before I listed it. When I first looked it up, I was just doing it through the eBay app and I was looking at the sold prices. I found a t-shirt that was similar. It wasn't the same exact one, but it was similar and it was the same size. And that sold for, it looked like $80. But my friend pointed out that on, you know, that the actual sold price for that was like $50. Somebody had taken a best offer. And so when you look it up through the desktop version or the web browser, on eBay, you can use like the research tool. I know it's got like a research tool through the phone, but there's so many times that like nothing comes up for me in that. I don't know. I don't use it. So anyway, it really only sold for $50, the shirt that I had been looking at. It wasn't the same exact one as this, and I liked mine better. So I did a little bit more research. There were others that had sold also really high, like around 100-ish. They weren't the same exact thing though. They really weren't necessarily similar. They were just kids' Beauty and the Beast vintage t-shirts, but there were some good prices in there. The available options were all sitting around 100. Again, this exact shirt wasn't there. The ones that were available, in my opinion, were not as cute as this. Somebody had one listed for $300. I bet you it still is there. But I decided to go ahead and try this at $129. I just pulled that price out of nowhere, kind of. Not really out of nowhere. I was going by like, because I thought mine was better than the others and most of them were around 100, I thought, let me go a little higher. I'll list it for 129 and we will see what happens. And I was hoping to get 100. I would have been very happy with 100. Within like a minute of me getting this listed, somebody sent me a message on eBay and it said, I'm not able to send offers through eBay, but would you be willing to consider $80 plus shipping? Now, this seems shady because why can't you send offers through eBay? You know, is your account restricted in some way? I don't know if there's a thing with like international buyers or something. It was showing the person as being in the US, but sometimes there's like, it'll look like they're in the US, but really it's like they're in China somehow. I don't know how that works. Anyway, I didn't respond to it because they sent this message like instantly and it was a little weird and I wasn't sure how I wanted to respond yet. And honestly, I was like, this message came through so fast. Let me go see how many, if anybody's even looking at this thing yet. And the listing already had 3 watchers. So I didn't respond initially. And then a minute later, 2 minutes later, something like that, the person sends me another message, says I can pay immediately. And I still just didn't respond. I was like, let me think about it. Because let's face it, $80 would have been great, right? That's a pretty nice profit on a t-shirt that I had just gotten that day, just listed that day, Well, within less than an hour of me listing this, it sold for full price for $129. And so then the person who had been emailing me sent another message that said, never mind, with a sad face. And it's like, I know you're sad, but you can see where this was beneficial for me, right? Like it's not a sad situation for me. And so I still just didn't respond to that. And then they sent me another message that said, if you ever find another one, I would be willing to pay $200. Would you? Because you weren't willing to pay $130. So, but it's fine. That could just mean that if I ever found this shirt again, I should just list it for $200. I don't know. It's worth a shot. Helpful hint for all of you. Anyway, it's a cute shirt, right? Look at this, like it's double-sided, all over print. And, it's great condition, little single seam stitching, really adorable. See, little glitter. That's the tag. It was really cute. Took me 2 seconds to list. I don't know why I don't do more kids' clothes. Look at this. There's no modeling. I just boom, front, boom, back, do a couple details. Zip, zip, although I hate flat lay because my back doesn't do well with it. But anyway, let's move on from this shirt. It's adorable. It made me a lot of money, but I think you've all gotten the picture by now. It's so cute though. Anyway, next up, also on eBay, this was a dress that I had listed for $79. The buyer actually sent me an offer of $50. It's a little bit lower than I ideally would have wanted. I would have been more comfortable around 59, but eBay, the buyer pays shipping, and I've had this dress for a long time, so I just accepted it. It was fine. It's a really cool dress. It's a polyester, very cute dress. The neckline is adorable. The back is just, regular back. So, but it's cute, right? Little braided detail at the neck. There's the tag. So yeah, $50. And that was cool. And then the last item that I sold for the week was also another good one though. On Depop, you can see that I had it listed for $179. The buyer sent me an offer for $143, which I think Depop gives you these like little default, like send an offer for 25 off, 15 off, whatever. So I think that was a 25% off that they sent to me. And I do pay shipping on Depop. So the shipping was $7.70. So I made $135.30 on that dress, which is great. This is a really beautiful dress. I love it so much. It's like a spaghetti strap dress, and then it has this gorgeous chiffon cape over it. It's got all these painted flowers on it. It's really beautiful. And let's see, it did have some weird pulls to the chiffon that I'll show you in a second, but look how pretty this is. And where is it? That's the tag. So here are the pulls. And in some light, like this light in the photo, it looks really horrific. But in the majority of the lighting, you can't even tell. Like I knew I had seen them at some point, and then I was trying to get photos of the pulls to be able to add to the listing, and I'm holding it up and I'm like, where are these pulls? I can't find, like I couldn't find them. And so I wrote the whole listing, like, I guess it doesn't have any damage. I must have been imagining things. And then when I went to fold the dress up to put it away, I saw all of this and I was like, I definitely have to fix up the listing and include it. But it was just crazy because in some lighting, I literally couldn't even see it. So anyway, there it is. $143 though. It's really a phenomenal dress. Gorgeous. I was so excited about that. But that was it. I 4 items that sold throughout the week. Look at this mess that I'm making of my page. Hold on. Can you guys, were you able to see that? I think so. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So 4 items. Now, fortunately for me, Whatnot has been doing phenomenally, and I've been making really nice sales in general. So this week wasn't too bad. And the sales that I did make were really good sales also, so that helps. So everything was still very comfortable and fine, but I do need to kind of boost some stuff up. You can see that Poshmark is not performing again. Depop and Poshmark are both very unreliable for me. I get 1 or 2 sales, maybe a sale a week would probably be generous. Sometimes 2 sales a month. Like they're not huge performers for me. And I'm not putting all sorts of crazy time into them, honestly. Both of them require a lot of sort of sharing. They want you to share all the time. And in my experience, both of them are platforms where the buyer wants much deeper discounts than I'm typically comfortable giving. So, if you want to send out like a 40 or 50% off discount, you're probably making a sale, but buyers aren't as willing to purchase with like a 20% off kind of discount. It's much less common in my experience. I'm still listing there because they're pretty easy to list and I do everything through Vendu, so it takes a lot of the work out. It's just like 2 more seconds. I still have been including some things on Whatnot's Buy It Now marketplace. Literally have not made a sale through that. I really don't expect to. But I think it's still nice that the things are in there because when I don't have anything listed in my shows, people can see the type of inventory that I like to offer. Now, I'm not offering that type of inventory in my shows generally, but the kind of vibe, right? Like what eras do I like? What's my personal style and what am I bringing to my shows? So there's that. Anyway, that's it. Those were all my sales. I feel like, Whatnot, it's a weird time. I don't know. Whatnot has been doing increasingly well for me, which I'm very appreciative of. My other platforms have been, I don't know, I guess they have been decent. Like this week was slow with number of sales. I did get 2 more sales that aren't in this video because they just happened, today, and they didn't fall within the time frame that I have for this video. But yeah, I don't know. So, plugging along. But eBay's really dropped far below their normal performance for me. Etsy's been kind of as consistent as Etsy is. Etsy is always very like, it's turned on or it's turned off for me. It doesn't seem to have like a nice consistent flow. It kind of starts and spurts for me. And now I just feel like I'm rambling at the end of this video. I don't know what I'm doing. It was a very short second half of the video. So I guess I feel like I needed to like make some stuff up. I don't know. If you haven't heard about it, Poshmark made a new little rule that's super fun where I forget what the rule is because I don't do it. I think it was about delisting and relisting. So it's very common on a lot of these marketplaces when an item has been listed for a period of time, you delete it and then put it back up as though it's a brand new item. And Vendu, helps to facilitate this kind of service. Like that was not ever a thing that I did on my own before I was using Vendu because it's just then I had to like save all the photos and you have to like copy paste all the text or whatever. I didn't do that stuff. It was very labor intensive in my opinion. What I would do like on eBay, and a lot of people would do this, is you can go into your own item and select sell similar and it like recreates the listing for you. And you can choose to include the photos or not. So a lot of people do that on eBay. Poshmark did offer a copy feature. In fact, I think Depop offers a copy feature as well. So you can copy an existing listing, right? Etsy does that too, I guess. So that's like some way in which I might have done it, but very rarely. But because Vendu lets you do these things in bulk with basically the click of a couple buttons, I have been doing that as my Etsy items expire, since they now expire. Makes me so annoyed. When they're expired, I delist those items from all of the platforms, maybe make a couple tweaks, and then I put them back up on all the platforms as new listings. Now, I haven't been listing on Poshmark for a very long time. I've just gotten back into doing it. So the things that I'm deleting and relisting are not things that were listed on Poshmark yet. I am just getting them listed on Poshmark for the first time in this process. But apparently people are doing this on Poshmark very frequently and in bulk. So, and mostly, I mean, I think a lot of people do it. Poshmark is okay with you doing this every like 60 days, right? If you have an item that's been listed for at least 60 days, they're okay with you, like, you know, kind of copying that listing, putting it up as new, and then taking the old one down, they say. But people are doing this where, like, in mass, they'll have like a closet, which is what Poshmark calls your shop, your posh closet. They have a closet of like 1,500 items, and they will do a mass delist and relist of, you know, 500 items or all 15. I don't know, right? They're doing this, and they're doing it like every 30 days, or some people were doing it sooner. You know, some people were doing it like once a week or every whatever, especially people who are using some sort of bot service. There are other bots that are specifically dedicated to Poshmark because of the sharing component. You know, you're supposed to go in to all of your listings on Poshmark every day and share them out to like the general Poshmark feed. I don't know if it's still a thing, but back in the day, they had the 30-minute method that this woman, Lynn, came up with. Lynn Cromar, if any of you care. But she's very analytical, and she had done all of this research to kind of figure out what was most effective in making sales on Poshmark. And so the 30-minute method theoretically would take you 30 minutes a day to do. And it involved like listing, I forget all the details, but it was something like listing 3 new items, sharing either your entire closet or a certain number of items, but then also going in and sharing other people's items, and then following new Poshmark users. Like, there's all these little things that you have to do to engage within the community and all this stuff, right? And Poshmark is very heavy on all that shit. And Depop is also somewhat heavy. I think Mercari is as well. Depop they used to make you sort of bump your listings, which was similar to Poshmark's sharing. You basically had to go in and edit your listing every day, and it would move it to the top of the feed again. And so it's all very labor intensive. It's all designed to keep you in the app, using the app. And from what I understand, part of the reason they want you to do that is because the more people that are actively in there futzing around and doing things, the more activity the app seems to generate. For, you know, if you're like an investor looking at investing into this app, they're like, oh, look at all these people who are using our app all fucking day long. So it looks good that way. I think it's stupid. I've never, you know, I used to do all that shit with Poshmark, the 30-minute method, and making myself nuts. And I would literally sit there and watch TV. You had to share things individually. So you would like hit a share to followers, click, and then like 3 or 4 clicks every item in your closet. So I just sit there while I was watching TV and do this, but it's so tedious and like mind numbing. And so then people started paying bot services, and Poshmark was against that, but people were doing it anyway. And then eventually Posh introduced a feature where you can use Poshmark, like they kind of say, like, share your whole closet in one go. But the thing is that if I'm doing that like once or twice a day, and I'm just doing it through the Poshmark app, you know, there's somebody else who's actually paying a bot service, and they're sharing their closet like 42 times a day. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's crazy. Anyway, so now Posh has come out and said that you are not allowed to do this whole delist and relist to make your items appear like they're new. You can't be excessive, but they didn't define what excessive was. They just said you can't do it too much or you're going to get in trouble. And it's like, okay, well, what's too much? And is that dependent on, you know, how many times a day, how many items per day, how old the item is, like what are the parameters? And so finally, after a whole bunch of backlash, Poshmark just came out and said, basically don't do it unless the item is at least 60 days old. So they didn't seem to put a number on how many items a day, I don't think. And Poshmark has other ways in which they can kind of throttle you. If you are and again, I don't experience this because won't do this shit, but like if you share too much, they can kind of throttle you. If you're listing too many things, they'll throttle you. And so again, a lot of this comes down to bot services, because I think that the people who are getting restricted for this kind of stuff, they're not doing it at a pace that any normal human can sustain doing, right? So they're using an automated bot service and it's just flooding the system, I think. So now, as a result of this, Poshmark has put this rule in place. If you do this too much, we're going to suspend you and or ban you if you continue. So it was supposed to be effective as of May 1st, which was yesterday. And people are getting suspended just for like they deleted an item that sold on eBay. They go into Poshmark and delete it. They're getting suspended immediately, or maybe it was like they got a warning when they deleted the first item and then a second item sold, they deleted that and then they got suspended for like 6 days. It's crazy. So I feel like Poshmark is clearly working through some glitches with this whole situation. I think that for normal people, they're not really going to be impacted. Vendoo just came out with a beta version of sharing service for Poshmark and Depop. I've tried it a couple of times. It's great for Depop. For me, it's not a whole lot different than just doing it through Poshmark with their share my closet thing. But, so I barely used it, but now I may have to not necessarily use it. I have not delisted anything from Poshmark yet, because I haven't sold anything that was listed there. So I don't know if that will be a problem for me. I don't think so, because someone else had a theory that this is impacting regular bot users more. So if you are already using a bot to do all of this automated mass delisting kind of stuff on a regular basis, that those are the people who they delete one thing because it sold on eBay and now they're getting warning notices. Whereas run-of-the-mill people who were not using a bot service can go in and delete something and it's not going to raise any red flags. I don't know if that's accurate. That's a theory, kind of makes some sense to me. But the people who were getting suspended literally had not done anything. They were deleting sold listings, and it was 2 or 3 of them. There's these stories, and it's multiple people who have come out with some of these stories. So be a little careful on Poshmark if you are listing there and using any kind of bots, especially. I'm still just going to do business as usual, even if they suspended me for 6 days. What? So I don't get a sale this week? I'm barely doing anything on Poshmark as it is. So anyway, that's all my sales. That's all my news. Thank you so much for watching this. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope it was informative. And let's see what next week brings, if any of the platforms decide to bump up the sales a little bit, although they were good. I don't want to shit talk them too much because the dollar amounts of the sales were good. I just need a little bit more. It was fine for this week, but that's not a sustainable week, really. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this. I hope that I will see you again soon. Bye.